The teachers of Pigeon Mountain Kindergarten have spent time researching and gaining a bicultural understanding of Ohuirangi, the mountain that watches over their centre. This process, of course, involves a variety of exploration as well.
We'd gone for a lot of walks in groups and looking at the history, and we thought through that, every area we go into now we look at what is the bicultural aspect here, how can we integrate this bicultural aspect, and so that reconnecting with the mountain was one way that we thought we could take that interest and integrate it into that.
Quite coincidentally, the interest in the mountain aligned with the introduction of some plastic cameras into the kindergarten. Some children took photos around the kindergarten, but interest really took off when a student teacher let them use her real camera.
It was an eye-opener for us when we saw how excited the children were when that teacher lent them the real camera, and they really then started thinking about their photography and getting excited, and they drove it.
They started asking as well for the real cameras, the ones we were using.
And it was exciting for us because they were driving it. This was their project, and we were just thinking, okay, what can we do now with the photography that is of interest to them?
This recognition of the community context within the centre has provided rich opportunity for learning through exploration of the locality, using the medium of photography. Today it's the turn of Bella, Alan and Beau to visit the neighbouring wetlands with Marianne.
Can you see how to play it back?
We were given some pukeko books, stories about pukekos, and we were reading that at mat time. And children were commenting about the pukekos. It may have come up from a child's comment about the pukekos across the road, and we said, oh, would you like to, maybe we could, photograph some of the pukekos across the road.
That's a good smell.
Must have heard us coming.
Whoa!
The teachers have found that photographic expeditions like this are most successful when they involve small numbers of children.
It's manageable with a small group, and it lets us work with the children. It lets them explore just quietly in their own time and in their own pace. Also, it's the number of cameras we have. I don't want them sharing cameras when they do it. We sort of think it's about them having the time, and so that they can observe and look around and feel they have ownership. Learning is not always about the finished product, actually. It's about practicing, having a go at things, so they will start connecting that this is a learning process as well. There are different learning happening here, but also that they're just there, they're just in the environment.
The camera gives the children a new way of viewing their environment. They're not merely observing, but working as documentarians, actively seeking out what's interesting to them and what might interest others.
When we did the mountain walk, there were a lot more children photos, taking photos of each other, because there's not so much movement on the mountain. It's a lot more reflective and looking around in the environment. When we've done the pukeko walk, there are a lot less photos of children coming through of each other and more of the pukekos, because that is the movement in the environment.
That's not to say that children are not interested in the people in their neighbourhood.
She saw what was happening, and she said, you can take a photo of me if you would like to. And then Beau took that lovely photo of her sitting there.
As with other art forms, Marion and her team consider photography as integral. The children learn techniques to enhance their work, like zooming, focus and framing. Some children soon learnt that they could use cameras to capture design aspects. Others discovered the mystique of shadows.
The pukeko. Did we see any others here today?
The birds.
Haven't got the seagulls on there, have they?
At times, the children notice and report on details in the environment that teachers may not have noticed, while there are opportunities to reflect on experience and consider other perspectives.
What about the cabbage tree? Did you see any cabbage trees?
No, that's the dad. Yeah, that's the dad again. Look, there's the Pookie. That's the baby again. Look at that one.
Often when children have been out in the community taking photos or drawing, they choose to incorporate their art in scrapbooks or albums. The Wetland collection is referred to as boardwalk books, and these are shared.
So they look through their photos that they've taken, and they can talk about their photos as well with their families, and they choose 1 or 2 photos that they'd like to come back to kindergarten and frame. So they have that discussion with their families as well, which is really nice. Which is your favourite one?
That one.
That one?
Also that one, those 2, and also that one.
Reviewing their work with family and teachers at kindergarten offers possibilities for children to learn beyond the actual experience.
Here's your photos that you took, and this is the story that you wrote. My Pukeko still runs in my house. I take him everywhere. My Pukeko loves to tickle me. I met him at the boardwalk.
But you got lots.
Alan feels a connection with the baby Pukekos across the road, and he's eager to carry on with the work he's started.
Now if you have a look, Alan, you can choose 1 or 2 photos that you really like that we can frame to put on the wall.
These 2.
You like the ones with the baby chicks?
Yes.
Do you think that looks like the same one? The baby chick?
No.
It probably looks a different shape in here because it's gone a square shape. You have a look at the chick.
Alan's able to control brightness and contrast in his prints, and together with Marion, he carefully constructs frames to mount his photographs on.
Start with this one. Now we need to put the tape on.
Then Alan sets about decorating his work. Again, children here mix media naturally as they create and refine their works of art.
Underneath it.
The photographs are a vehicle for multiple modes of literacy. As well as talking about their photographs with parents and teachers and having their stories written up, the children create slideshows.
Photographs they'd make into mini movies, and the children would be using their own photographs, and they'll use the projector screen to present them at mat times, and even put them on a disc and take them home and share with their families.
The power of the camera as a tool for communication is illustrated in the story of a child for whom English is an additional language, who took a camera home.
He was trying to tell us about his puppy, I think, and we were really not getting it because we couldn't understand what he was saying. And I said, would you like to take the camera home and take some pictures? And yes, so then he took it home and he took the pictures. He came back and he did some lovely scrapbooking at kindergarten. And then he shared it at news, and all the children could see his story and they could understand it. So he was really pleased, and he just loved the camera.
Pigeon Mountain's cameras are part of the kit, along with pencils and paper, when the kindergarten visits places of interest in the community. At the museum, it's very apparent that photography has moved well past the superficial novelty level and is used by all to document, review and evaluate experiences critically. Mat times at Pigeon Mountain have become a time for such reflection. Children talk about what they've learned and discuss what being a learner involves.
Levi, when you're taking pictures of the bugs, what type of learning powers do you think you are using?
Concentrating.
Concentrating? And observing, looking at the bugs as well?
They are looking quite closely. That power of observation is starting to become more refined. They are looking as artists. And we've had a little bit of discussion about being and becoming, and when do you become? Why is it you have to wait till you have a qualification till you've become? They can be artists, and they are artists now. Being an artist isn't about being a finished person, or it's actually, there's a lot that happens when you're an artist that's actually about exploring art.